Now that we are in a weird spot in the offseason, kind of too early to look ahead into the 2024 season, even though most people are, I wanted to look back at this past season. So I came up with the list of my top 15 craziest finishes with 2 honorable mentions. First honorable mention, NC State avoids the upset and beats Virginia 24-21. This was week 3 on a Friday night, and it was more exciting than it should have been, especially if you were a Wolfpack fan. Calandria and Malik Washington connected to make it a 2-point game with 36 seconds left. Calandria got a little too excited, took his helmet off, and got called for a 15-yard penalty, making the 2-point conversion from the 18 instead of what would have been the 2 or the 3. He miraculously converted the 2-point conversion and tied the ball game up at 21, but it was too much time. NC State ran the kickoff return all the way to Virginia's 40, getting into field goal range just 1 play later. The 48-yard field goal was blocked, but Virginia was called for a 15-yard personal foul, which moved the field goal up and walked it off for the win. Second and final honorable mention, Florida goes into Williams-Brice Stadium and steals a 41-39 win from Shane Beamer and Spencer Rattler. Florida was down 10 to South Carolina with about 5 minutes left, converted several 4th down conversions, and Ricky Pearsall eventually ended the ball game, winning 41-39. All right, going into the top 15, James Madison beats Virginia 36-35 in week 2. This is Virginia's second appearance already in this video, and they lost both games. Virginia held multiple double-digit leads in this game and even into the 9-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Then McLeod for James Madison got it going and threw a 10-yard touchdown pass to go up 36-35 with under a minute left. The Dukes would sack Calandria, force a turnover on downs, and they spoiled the scene there in Charlottesville. One of a couple of North Texas appearances on this list, they beat Louisiana Tech 40-37. The Mean Green controlled this game for over 55 minutes, heading into the 4th quarter with a 17-point lead. Tech would eventually cut it to 7 with a minute and a half left. Then they recovered the onside kick, and 3 plays later tied it at 37 with a long touchdown pass. 1 minute was too much time though. Chandler Rogers got the Mean Green all the way to the 14-yard line to set up the game-winning field goal. Number 13, USC beats their big brother California 50-49. Talk about craziest finishes. This was just a crazy game. Cal was down 17-7 late in the 1st quarter and held a 28-17 lead at halftime. All courtesy of Jaden Ott, who had over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Cal would eventually go up 43-29 entering the 4th, but USC and Caleb Williams would not go down. In the span of 8 minutes, USC scored 3 touchdowns, taking a 50-43 lead with 3.5 minutes left. Fernando Mendoza would lead the Bears to a touchdown before going for 2, but the USC defense would hold its ground, giving the Trojans the win and avoiding their 3rd straight loss. At number 12, one of the playoff games, Washington beats Texas 37-31. I already talked about this in my top 20 games of the year video, so if you want to hear more about this one, go watch that. Seriously, go watch it. I could use the views. But the ending to this game was wild. Washington recovered a Texas onside kick up 6, and all they needed was 1 first down to seal the win. Instead, their running back Dylan Johnson went down with a freak injury, and they had to use a timeout, giving Texas 40 extra seconds to work with. Quinn Ewers would take advantage of that time, leading the Longhorns to the red zone with plenty of time remaining. 3 incompletions later, though, it all came down to 4th down and the last play of the game. The Washington secondary stepped up, batted the pass down, and sent the Huskies to the national championship. Another game I talked about in that video, Clemson beats Kentucky 38-35 in their bowl game. This was the craziest 4th quarter of the year. A total of 42 points were scored, 5 lead changes just in that quarter alone. Bill Maffa ran it in for the Tigers in the final seconds, and Drew Leary would get picked off soon after to seal the Clemson win. Rounding in the top 10, James Madison is on the wrong end of a disappointing loss this time when Appalachian State came into Harrisonburg and spoiled the 10-0 start for the Dukes. Appalachian State controlled the majority of this game, leading 17-5 with under 9 minutes left. James Madison finally got it going, scoring a touchdown, then holding App State to a field goal and having a chance to tie it late in the 4th. Jordan McLeod would convert a 4th and 18 to keep the dream alive, and they would eventually tie it at 20 with 1 minute left. Then Appalachian State would lead a promising drive, getting to James Madison's 11-yard line before Joey Aguilar threw a dumb interception to make this game go to overtime. App State would hold JMU to a field goal and get their shot to end it. On 2nd and goal at the 8, Caden Robinson caught a pass right at the goal line, stretching the ball out just over the white line, and it gets knocked out of the back of the end zone. So the refs had to review the play to see if the ball either crossed the line or was it a touchback. So a play that determined the entire game. The refs concluded that the ball was across the line, and Appalachian State got to take the W from a packed stadium. In a big conference game later on in the season, Memphis escaped North Texas' furious comeback, 45-42. 35 fourth quarter points in this one. The Tigers were up 17 early in the fourth before North Texas scored 21 straight points, taking a 42-38 lead with 47 seconds left. Seth Hennigan would lead a 6-play, 36-second touchdown drive to win it 45-42 and add another conference win to the Tigers. UNLV beats Vanderbilt on a crazy final sequence in Vegas. The Rebels went up 37-30 with 2 minutes left in the game. 5 plays later, A.J. Swan tied it up and left UNLV with 1 minute on the clock. One play later, Vandy intercepted the ball and had the game in their hands deep into UNLV territory. After the Rebels used all 3 of their timeouts and forced a field goal, the Vandy kicker missed a 33-yarder and gave UNLV a second chance with 40 seconds left. Jaden Mayeva hit a 48-yard completion, getting them into good field goal range, and the UNLV kicker sealed the deal. Vandy would go on to lose the next 9 straight, and the Rebels would go on to have a really good season under first-year head coach Barry Odom. At number 7, I would never forget this game, costing me $12 on a parlay I made for UCF money line. UCF was up 35-10 entering the fourth, 35-10, and lost. And I also lost, but nobody cares about that. I will talk more about this game in another video coming soon, but as you can tell, Baylor came back down 25 in the fourth to win 36-35. Another one I won't spend too much time on because I talked about it in my top 20 games of the year. Ohio State beats Notre Dame 17-14. The finish to this one was so chaotic. Notre Dame was up 14-10, had the ball, only needing 1 first down to seal it. Instead, Ohio State would force a punt and get the ball with 1:25 left. Get this, Ohio State, they would run 15 plays in that final 1:25. 15 plays in 85 seconds. Kyle McCord would convert a 3rd and 10 and a 4th and 7 before getting to the 1-yard line where Chip Trayanum, now a Kentucky Wildcat, Chip Trayanum punched it in on the final play to win 17-14. At number 5, this game just summed up Nebraska's season last year in a nutshell. Iowa beats Nebraska 13-10 on rivalry week to win 10 games and end Nebraska's bowl game hopes. We both know these 2 offenses can't score, so don't even look at the drive chart. Oh wait, here it is. It is hilarious. So with under a minute left, Iowa has the ball in their own territory. Deacon Hill throws a pick, and the Nebraska linebacker runs it deep into Iowa territory before a blatant holding gets it brought back to Nebraska's own 45. 2 plays later, Chubba Purdy throws a pick, and Iowa kicks a last-second field goal to end their regular season. Just back-to-back picks in the final seconds of this one. One of the only Hail Marys to end the game this year, Houston beats West Virginia 41-39. This game had 42 fourth quarter points and 4 lead changes. Houston went up 11 late in the fourth. West Virginia scored 2 touchdowns in 3.5 minutes to take a 39-35 lead with 12 seconds left. 12 seconds. Donovan Smith completed a pass to get to the 50-yard line to even have a chance for a Hail Mary. He then scrambled around and threw a 50-yard bomb in the end zone, and it was caught by Stephen Johnson to win it. It was an absolute madness in Houston. And this was a Thursday night game, just an insane treat for college football fans in general. I've been going back and forth on number 3 and number 2 for a while, but then I realized it's not a big deal, and they are both just crazy finishes. But at number 3, this is one of the worst decision-making blunders in NCAA history. Georgia Tech beats Miami 23-20. Let me just set the scene for you. It is week 6 in our glorious college football season. Early October, the leaves are starting to change. The U is back. They are 4-0 with an impressive win over A&M in week 2. They have a top 15 matchup the following week against North Carolina. Hard Rock Stadium is packed. Well, as packed as it gets these days anyway. They just have to beat the mediocre at best Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. It's late in the fourth quarter. The game has been ugly. Tyler Van Dyke has been abysmal, but you just have to get a W and move on in North Carolina. You just clinched the game-winning first down, 33 seconds in the ball game, up 3, and Tyler Van Dyke, all he's got to do is knee it, and we'll get out of here. He needed the ball, right? He didn't knee it. He needed the ball. Chaney fumbled, and Haynes King threw a touchdown pass with 1 second left on the clock. What? This is the second time this has happened for Cristobal? What? Let's get to number 2. Another one I have talked about ad nauseum, the 4th and 31 game. Alabama beats Auburn 27-24. We already know what happened. Alabama recovers a muffed punt in Auburn territory after a few mistakes. They find themselves 4th and goal at the 31. Milroe drops back, somehow gets a one-on-one opportunity with Isaiah Bond, and he comes down with it. The place is stunned. Hugh Freeze is crying. Nick Saban goes out on top against Auburn. Truly one of the craziest finishes in this rivalry, and trust me, there have been some crazy ones. Remember this? But at number 1, some Midwest action. Colorado State stuns Boise State in the final seconds on a Hail Mary, 31-30. This one had 34 fourth quarter points and only had one lead change, and it came on the literal last play. Boise State had a lead of 17-0, 23-10, and 30-10 with 6 minutes left in the game. A 20-point lead with 6 minutes. Nicolosi drove the Rams down in 6 plays, cut the lead to 13 with 4 minutes left to play. Then they get the onside kick, and 2 minutes later it's 30-24. The Broncos starting to feel it a little bit, but still they only need 1 first down to win this ball game, and they get it. Talon Green, now Arkansas Razorback quarterback Talon Green, go Hogs, runs for 21 yards to seal the deal, except the deal wasn't sealed. There's a holding penalty, forces a 2nd and 19 at the Rams 47. Colorado State forces a punt. They get the ball back at their own 12 with 33 seconds left and 0 timeouts. Still not looking good for them. Nicolosi connects with Torrey Horton for 44 yards, and they get to Boise's 33-yard line with 6 seconds left. 1 incomplete pass later, there is 1 second left in the ball game. Nicolosi throws a pass in the right corner of the end zone. The ball is tipped, and Dalen Hoker comes down with it. The Rams win 31-30, and it was a beautiful scene in Fort Collins. So those are the craziest finishes of the year to me. Comment any games I missed. Again, I have a top 20 overall games video. Go watch that. Like and subscribe for more. I think the next video I'm going to do is the biggest comebacks of this past season. I appreciate y'all.